This is Big Business with Sarah. This podcast guides you to finding what you desire most in life and business, because running a business is very much about your personal development. In this podcast, I'm sharing what my clients ask me and how I help them. Thanks for joining. Welcome back to another episode of Big Business with Sarah, the podcast that empowers you to overcome obstacles and create a successful and fulfilling business. I'm your host, Sarah, and I'm thrilled to have you here today and every other day. In this episode, we're diving deep into a topic that affects actually many entrepreneurs: shame. And how to overcome it to unlock your true potential. And maybe you're thinking, this is a big business podcast. Why are we talking about this? Well, I recently read one of Gabby Bernstein's books, Happy Days, sorry. And at one point in the book, she talks, it's not very much about that, but at one point she talked about shame and how it influences your personal life and feelings and everything. And I was thinking, it actually influences your business life as well. So a few weeks ago, I hosted a call in my Big Business Club about this specific topic to talk about this. And what I really liked about it, in the Big Business Club is that everybody in their own way, and it's not just a club, right? But I spoke about this with them, is, everybody, experiences shame, full stop, but also in a very different way. So I really liked discovering that as well, as a coach, and, to really find out, sometimes it happens that a client comes to me where they're talking about the fact that they have tried something. And, sometimes a client comes to me with a question which they have asked many times, right? And then sometimes, there is something else that we should discuss. And, it's my job as a coach, obviously, to discover that and to ask the right questions and to find out. And I think not this episode, but that call, well, also this episode, obviously, but that call really helped my clients to look a little bit beyond, the surface and go a little bit deeper. So before we delve into the steps to overcome shame, because that's what we're going to talk about, let's first understand what shame truly is and how it can impact your business. So shame really is that inner voice that tells you that you're not enough, that you are unworthy of success. When I'm saying this, I'm always a little bit like, it kind of gives me a pit in my stomach, because I recognize this too, but I'm also seeing this with my clients, and I'm like, no, don't think that, but yeah, it happens. And or that your mistakes define your worth. So it's a difficult emotion that really can hold you back and keep you small and prevent you from taking bold actions in your business. So I think I saw it somewhere, but I recently, again, got very much into Kim Kardashian's, I think it's called My Jam song. It's the only song by Kim Kardashian on Spotify. I'm sure millions of people will listen to it right now because they're listening to my podcast. And I love that song. It's from 2011. And I guess it was, I actually don't really know the background. I'm kind of making this up, but I guess it was, let's see if Kim can also have, a music career, obviously, with her friend Paris. And, and I was thinking about the earlier episodes of the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So I think I saw season 1 and 2 and maybe 3 and 4 or something. And then I kind of skipped a lot of seasons because I'm not so much of a reality TV buff, but I really like them. And right now, actually, I don't like the Kardashians that much because, they're producing everything themselves and it looks like a big ad. And, it's nice to watch, obviously, but really, if there's nothing else on television or on streaming, of course. Sometimes I have to feel I sound like a grandma. Anyway, Kim Kardashian, I was thinking about her. I was thinking about shame. Not so much, actually, when I prepared this episode. Actually, I'm thinking about it right now. So I was thinking about, this morning, I was thinking about Kim Kardashian, and actually that she, remember when I've said this in my posts or in my podcast, that you have to be willing to suck, right? So if you want to grow, you're first going to do it in a really bad way. And actually, I think, the worse you're doing, the more you're going to grow. So if you're looking at, not so much the song, because actually it's a great song. And I mean, of course, she's not a great singer, and, but it's very, very nicely produced. Listen to it. If I'm looking back at what Kim Kardashian had to do to get where she is right now, because we all see, this, I think it was an interview with GQ, where she says, get your fucking ass up and work. And she's, pardon my swearing, by the way, but that's the Kim we see right now. But before that, she was working so incredibly hard, and so, there were these pictures, these old pictures that she did in Playboy magazine with all those pearl necklace kind dress things. So that's where she came from. She did all those little things, like, make an appearance here, and she went to all these premieres, and then she had to buy these clothes, and that clothes, and she really had to make very smart investments. I'm not saying that that's, the way, but looking at how they did it, just from a neutral perspective, I mean, these people have gone all the way to get to where they are now. Yes, they already had, they were not, starting in poverty or whatever. Yes, they already had a big network, obviously, of people and of broadcasting. But so thinking about, sometimes I really have to channel that early Kim, everything that she had to do, that party, I think it was in Las Vegas, where she was invited, I think, and she had to perform. And then in a bathtub, I remember, or with the Pussycat Dolls, she had to do a dance class. I don't really exactly remember. And then she had to dance, and then we all kind of figure out that Kim and dancing is not really, a very good combination. And because she doesn't like it, or she's not very good at it, but she has really managed, from an early age to be okay with that shame, or at least, because else she wouldn't continue. So that's something that I see. And what I'm a little bit annoyed about, what I'm seeing in the business world, is that people want to appear perfect. And, they want to have the perfect branding, they want to have the perfect pictures and everything. And they don't really want to do the things that is needed to do in order to get what they want. And now I'm actually do sound a little bit like Kim Kardashian. I'm not really, I think, the context that she used, the get your fucking ass up and work comment, I actually kind of agree with her, because yes, you have to put in the work. I'm not saying that you have to work 100 hours a week. No, I'm not saying that. It will take a little bit longer, but I do really believe that you kind of have to feel it and go a little bit through the mud before you get what you want. And this is annoying about life. I know, there's no magic pill, unfortunately. I'm not the business coach who's telling you this. But, really one of the things, if we're working together, that's something that I always really want to work on is, okay, yes, but what is it that you have to do before you can get there? Because some people really skip a lot of steps, and then you will not get what you want, and you will be frustrated, and everything is not your fault but everybody else's. So anyway, that's one thing about shame that I wanted to share with you. This Kim Kardashian story, and that she was not afraid and not ashamed, or at least because else she would have probably quit. There is actually a way to change this narrative also. So I'm going to help you, right? So I think Kim already, did it herself, but I'm also going to help you in 3 steps how to overcome that. So step 1 is really about embracing radical self-acceptance. Just like Gabby Bernstein suggests in her book, it's crucial to acknowledge and own your mistakes without letting them define you. This is a big one. So remember, you are not your past failures. I want you to take a moment to reflect on your journey so far, maybe put pause right now on this podcast and recognizing that every experience had led you to where you are today. And by embracing your imperfections, you can release the grip of shame and cultivate self-compassion. And then step 2, we'll talk about the power of sharing your story. So shame thrives in isolation. I know this because I've worked through this as well. But vulnerability is its kryptonite. So open up to a trusted friend, a mentor, a coach about your struggles and insecurities. When you share your challenges, you'll often find that others have faced similar experiences, creating really a sense of connection and unity. Or if they haven't, they can help you, going towards maybe a different direction. And so by shining a light on your shame, you take away its power and create space for growth and healing. So this is kind of, like the shadow parts that you shouldn't ignore the bad things in your life, but you should actually face them and say, hello, shame, welcome. I accept you. And I'm even going to talk about you. So when I'm looking at my coaching practice, I think if I'm seeing a client, being talking to me in a way, like they, or only when they're having success, kind of, having me check if it's good or not, and never open up about what's the problem or what's the mistake, then I, as a coach, really take that personally. And not personally, but I'm thinking of that like, oh, I should help this person in a better way because they think they have to check something off or something, or they have to get a sticker from me. And so that's something that I'm taking very seriously. Is this person honestly opening up, or are they just using the coaching space to see, if they've done the right steps? They can do that, obviously, it's fine. But and especially if something is repeatedly not going well, then we have to dive a little bit deeper. And then the third step, finally, let's explore that one, is to rewrite your inner narrative. So imagine if you spoke to yourself as kindly and supportively as you do to your closest, your clients or your friends, or closest clients, whatever it could be. So replace self-criticism with self-affirmation. And I want you to create a list of positive affirmations that reflect your worthiness, capability, and potential. And repeat these daily, or, actually to rewire your subconscious mind and silence the inner shame gremlin. Because, when you're constantly talking to yourself, and I did this, by the way, I did this a lot. I'm still doing it, but a lot less. But I did this, and I didn't even notice I did this. So that was quite, I had a lot of work to do, actually. So, and with those affirmations, you have so much influence on your thoughts. And, if you can think better thoughts, it really influences your behavior as well. I'm not saying that this is, for instance, if you have some, maybe you're feeling depressed, or I'm not saying that positive affirmations is going to help you, right? It might help you, but maybe you also need therapy. Maybe you also need medication. I'm not saying that, but it couldn't hurt to try and see how it works for you. So for instance, affirmations for me personally don't really work. What helps for me is gratitude. That's an exercise that really resonates very well with me, and I'm doing that every day. And writing down what I'm grateful for, and everything that I'm grateful for becomes bigger because I'm appreciating it. So that's how it works. Positive affirmations, I'm not there yet. I want to say yet. This is also something I shared in one of the past episodes. the YET method. All right, I encourage you to remember that your worthiness is not tied to your business success or failures. Remember this, please. Do not let that influence you, and it is difficult. Embrace radical self-acceptance, share your story, and rewrite your inner narrative. And you're actually going to take very powerful steps toward overcoming shame and stepping into your full potential, because people love working with you and you don't have to be ashamed for anything. And your business deserves your confidence and deserves your success. And now it's time for one of your questions. Into my free Art to Profit Masterclass, there was a question from someone who said, I am not an expert in my fields. The people who are in this call are way more an expert. Should I pursue my online presence anyway? And that's what the entire, well, not the entire masterclass was about, but it was also very much about your online presence. And or presence in the web, not so much online presence, by the way, but actually making yourself the expert. There's a few people who are very good at this, and I believe it should be more people who are good at this, because you don't need an authority or someone else to decide if you're the expert, right? So as long as you really believe in yourself, and when you have so much confidence, then you can actually present yourself as an expert, because you are. I believe, honestly, I have worked with so many people, and I believe that everybody is an expert specifically to their field or with their unique traits, because everybody is different, right? So everybody has a different personality, everybody has a different approach, experience, upbringing. And so I believe really in the abundance of that everybody is able to bring something beautiful to the world. And, I'm so glad, that we're living in a world where some people are wired one way and the other people are wired a different way. And so really do put out your online presence, really share your expertise. Do not let others decide whether you're an expert or not. This is a very old belief that just doesn't make any sense anymore, especially not in the internet age. I mean, we just spoke about Kim Kardashian. Oh my, if she would listen to an expert, we would never be able to see her. And I would actually, I would be very sorry about that, because, why is that? Because she is really making a contribution also, for instance, if you're already looking at human rights and how she's fighting, for people who are in prison and who are innocent, how to get them out of death row. So, always also, if you're kind of, hating on someone online, look at how you're looking at yourself as well. That's what I want to say. Now, I have a question for you. Can you be honest and look at which parts in your business you're a bit ashamed of? So it could be finances or your admin, maybe your number of clients, your content. And is there a way to use the 3 tips before, which I just heard, to listen to them maybe once again and to implement them in your business and see, how you can kind of turn it around for yourself, and to think, oh, you know what, actually, or maybe you're just saying, oh yeah, I'm actually a little bit ashamed of my finances, but you know what, I know, I still have 4 months left of the year. I'm going to be okay. And that's something, that you're capable of, right? To change the narrative. So use the 3 tips that I spoke about. So embracing radical self-acceptance, sharing your story, and rewrite your inner narrative, and look at all those things, parts in your business that you're a little bit ashamed of, but that there's actually no reason to think that. Okay, thank you for listening, and see you again next week. Thank you for listening to Big Business with Sarah. If you've enjoyed today's episode, leave a 5-star review and hit subscribe. If you're ready for your next step in business, you can find out how to work with me in the show notes. Do not forget to submit your coaching question for one of my next episodes. Have a happy day.